Good evening and namaste. Invoking the blessings of the divine, we warmly welcome all of you on behalf of the One World, One Family mission, a global humanitarian organization active in 100 countries. Part of this global mission is Education for All, which has organized this event, and we are all very grateful to have each and every one of you join us for this special evening titled When Health and Education Come Together to Transform Society. My name is Bhuvna Santanam, Chief Collaborations Officer of the One World, One Family mission. And along with my two young friends, Satvik Shivram pursuing undergraduation at the University of Northeastern in Boston, and Sai Prem pursuing high studies in medical school, we will be your MCs for this evening's program. We are deeply honored to welcome our esteemed guest of honor, Sri Madhusudan Sai, whose presence brings deep meaning to this gathering. He's a visionary humanitarian whose life's mission is rooted in selfless service for the upliftment of humanity. Under his guidance, hospitals, schools, and service programs have been established to ensure that quality healthcare, wholesome nutrition, and values-based education reach those who need them most, regardless of their background or circumstances, completely free of charge. What makes Sri Madhusudan Sai's work so meaningful is not only its scale, but also its spirit. It is service offered with love, leadership rooted in humility, and impact guided by compassion. Today, as we reflect on how basic necessities can come together to transform society, we are indeed blessed to be in the presence of someone who's impacting millions every single day. Please put your hands together and join us in extending a very warm and heartfelt welcome to Sri Madhusudan Sai.
Sri Madhusudan Sai's focus has always been on the most vulnerable, the belief that survival of the weakest is paramount. The mission centers on children, women, and those who are marginalized, including orphans and the elderly, especially those with equal opportunities. We are also committed to nurturing cultural and spiritual development as an integral part of our work. We will now have a short video on the One World, One Family mission showcasing glimpses of our mission. May we have the video, please?
This ideal comes from an ancient Indian principle which considers the whole world as one global family. And as a family, we believe all our family members deserve care and support. Across the globe, we serve millions through three main pillars: nutrition, education, and healthcare, all completely free of charge. The Annapurna Morning Nutrition Program began in 2012, providing breakfast for just 50 children, and has since grown to become India's largest morning nutrition program. Today, millions of school children across India and beyond receive the Sai Shore multi-nutrient supplement, helping them begin each day nourished and ready to learn. At our mission, we believe education is every human being's birthright. With a global presence and multiple campuses throughout India, we provide free education from grade 6 to doctorate studies, ensuring every student receives a well-rounded, values-based education that combines high-quality academics with moral and spiritual values. The Sri Satya Sai University for Human Excellence opens doors previously unimaginable to children from underserved communities. By offering quality higher education to those traditionally overlooked, and with a strong emphasis on empowering women, we're breaking the cycle of educational disparity and promoting gender equality in education. Meanwhile, our Skill Development Center equips rural youth with job-ready skills, and our scholarship program supports education with thousands of rural children. Our commitment to empowerment is also demonstrated by People Shores, an impact sourcing organization in the United States. We help youth from marginalized communities gain skills for the digital economy. This innovative model delivers high-valued business services while transforming lives and uplifting communities. Our vision for accessible medical education became a reality in 2023 when Prime Minister Sri Modi inaugurated the Sri Madhusudan Sai Institute of Medical Sciences and Research, India's first free, private, rural medical college. This institution aims to nurture noble-minded healthcare professionals who are dedicated to serving the underserved members of our society. Our healthcare mission goes beyond treating illness. We're pioneering solutions to bridge critical gaps in accessible medical care. And through our network of wellness centers, mobile hospitals, and multi-specialty facilities, we bring free healthcare directly to underserved rural communities. From preventative care to complex surgeries, at our hospitals, there are no billing counters. Since 2016, we've expanded beyond India to serve communities across the globe with the singular goal of leaving no person behind. Exemplifying this idea, our Sri Satya Sai Sanjeevani centers form the world's largest chain of free pediatric cardiac hospitals, giving new life to children with heart defects. And with continually growing needs worldwide, we're expanding our healthcare facilities with the world's largest free hospital, a 600-bed facility that demonstrates our dedication to accessible healthcare for all. Our vision is clear. A society where life's value is measured not in wealth, but in compassionate service to those in need. And this vision only becomes a reality with the contribution and generous support of our global family. After all, we are all one world, one family.
We are now pleased to invite Mr. Shivaram, the coordinator for Education for All. Education for All is an inspiring initiative under the One World, One Family mission that is focused on supporting access to free quality education. We now invite Mr. Shivaram to kindly join us on stage.
Sairam. Good evening, everyone. Namaste. First of all, I would like you to be relaxed, enjoy this program. And you already saw the One World, One Family mission, and I'm sure you understood the mission and the goal of this organization. Before I talk more about the mission, I would like to also give a mention to some of the organizations out here. There is representation from the different organizations such as Kannada, Telugu, Hindi, Hindu Temple of Atlanta, then local newspapers, NRI Pulse, and the TV9, Mana TV, and so on. And also I'd like to mention Rotary Club. Our Rotary Club friends are here. I'm also part of that. And you can wave. Okay, good. And we also have the representative from Annapurna Mission. Annapurna is the morning nutrition that our organization serves daily 10 million children in India and 5 countries. And Sai Prasad and Anand are here. They're sitting in the back, but they're working hard. And we have representatives from our Mississippi Clarksdale Medical Center that is running here in USA. And these doctors and also the supporters, they are dedicating their volunteering and running those medical center. If you can wave, please. And we also have People Shores. People Shores has 7 centers in the USA. I think it's more than 7 now. But, and 1 in DeKalb County here in Atlanta. What the People Shore does is, it trains the youth, especially underprivileged youth, especially in IT, and then places them in some of the companies. And there are People Shores representatives as well here. And Priya is there from People Shores. You can wave. Yes, thank you. I'd like to also give a mention of some of our friends and dignitaries here. I see Himamshu Karnwal. Thanks, Himamshu. He's the Rotary Club president, and we have Clayton Lee, Georgia Crime Prevention Council president, and then we have Ashish Doshi. He's the entrepreneur and the leader behind Moho Jewelers and Opal Diamond. Education for All, part of the One World, One Family mission, or the education mission of One World, One Family. And before going to all the different activities what you're doing, I would like to tell what's happening in the world today. Can you please go to the next slide, please? So this is the content. I pulled it from WHO, World Health Organization. What it says is, this is talking about wasting prevalence. Wasting means the children, they are underweight, dangerously underweight. This graph, this picture shows the percentage worldwide. As you can see, the South Asia, especially India, that shows the pink there, that is the highest wasting prevalence in the world. That is 14.3% of the children are underweight, dangerously underweight. Why it happens? This is because of malnutrition. They are not getting the right source of nutrition in their daily diet. They go to school hungry, or they don't get to eat 3 meals a day. Please go to the next slide. So this slide shows about the overall 273 million out of school globally. That means they don't go to school. Then 7 in 10 out of cannot read simple text by age 10. 150 million people or children are stunted. Stunted meaning they're short. They are below the average height. Then 43 million are wasted. That means they're underweight. Malnutrition drives around half of under 5 deaths. Please go to the next slide. Now, we all think about poverty is the only solution, or poverty is only the issue. No, there is a character. There's a character crisis. This information I'm getting is UNESCO, first one. 1 in 3 students globally experience bullying in school. And 1 in 7 adolescents experience mental health conditions. Over 70 million children lack access to safe, inclusive, and supportive learning environment. Now, millions of children receive education that focuses on exams, not on ethics, empathy, or character. and lack of character education, the issue. This is what the final touch, what the UNESCO says. Violence, disrespect, lack of responsibility, lack of misbehavior, corruption in society. These are the issues. So one is you need to work about the poverty issue in the world, malnutrition and other things for the children. Next is character building. If the children don't get the right education, whether it is poor or rich, then the issues what the UNESCO is depicting here. Next slide, please. What is the solution? What is our organization, One World One Family Mission of Sadguru Madhusudan Sai, is doing about it? We have three verticals. One is free healthcare, free education, and free nutrition. Next slide, please. So under education, we have 26 campuses, and it is still growing. And all these campuses are built state-of-the-art, and they receive all-round education. All these education institutions, based on the values, these children wake up early in the morning, 4:30 in the morning, 4:30 a.m. in the morning. They do meditation, prayer, yoga, and then they also get a lot of exposure to sports and computer education. And they get to go through other things like classical musics, both Western and Indian. And they get the good nutritious meal and regular education as well. Our universities have wide varieties of courses, not focused on commercial, how the most of these schools are focused on. Our focus of our education system is building the character, and our universities are also tailored towards that. We have courses, some of the very beautiful courses, like courses in performing arts, where children study what are their passions, different musical instruments or arts and such, along with the computer and other things. And we also have, of course, the regular science and computer streams as well. And we also have undergrad and postgrad and PhD programs in Vedic studies and so on. And we also have you can call as the world's first free medical education, medical college, that is in Muddenhalli near Bangalore. And that is providing all the students both tuition, boarding, lodging, everything completely free of charge. And we have university with 3 campuses. Please go to the next slide, please. Now coming to the health side. This is our healthcare footprint in India. As you can see, it is still growing, and overall we have 15 hospitals worldwide, and out of that, you can see one in Chhattisgarh, one in Mumbai, Maharashtra, one in near Delhi, and then one coming up in Odisha, one in Telangana, and one in Bangalore. And there is also one plan for Uttar Pradesh, West Bengal, and so on. And also in the November 2025, another initiative took place where it is called Sai Swasthya, that is village clinic that is coming up. Currently it is planned for 140 village clinics throughout India, and it is planned to be expanded further. Next slide, please. And this is the healthcare footprint worldwide. As you can see, our initiative is spanning across 100 countries, and in one or the other form, such as either providing food, nutrition activities, or healthcare facilities, youth activities, and so on. And we have free hospitals in Fiji, we have a hospital in Nigeria, we have a medical center in Clarksdale, Mississippi, and we have one in Sri Lanka. Okay, next slide, please. Okay. So far, 80,000 surgeries performed, 40,000 children treated for heart disease defects, 4 million outpatient consultations, 160,000 inpatients treated, 20,000 deliveries, and 1 million outreach health screenings. And moreover all this, basically everything is provided completely free of charge to all these patients. And Annapurna Nutrition, as I was mentioning previously, serves daily 10 million children are fed daily nutrition throughout India and 5 countries. And this picture shows in different places, you can see the children, one in the hospital, Sanjeevani Hospital, the first picture, and then there is another one in our hospital, and picture that is showing in the students and so on. Okay. Next slide, please. Okay. This is how we have grown 2024 onwards, 2026 today. So probably about 1,900 crores of rupees have been invested in all of our healthcare, education, and nutrition sectors. Okay. I will stop here. I'll pause here, and we'll come back again during the end of the programs and with more details. Thank you.
Thank you, Shivram. May we now invite co-members of the Education for All team to share a few words of their journey. They serve the mission in many meaningful ways, including through the One World, One Family's Medical Center situated in Clarksdale, Mississippi. We would first like to invite Dr. Holly Semetko, Asa Griggs Candler Professor of Media and International Affairs and Professor of Political Science at Emory University in Atlanta. Dr. Semetko.
Thank you. Yes, it's a very pleasure for me to be here today, and thank you so much for making this whole thing possible by visiting today. And I wanted to just share with you on one of my first visit to Mudinahala, which is only about 30 minutes from Bengaluru Airport, I was struck by the beauty of the campus. And every year since then that I've been back, there's been new buildings that are just as beautiful or more beautiful. And I wanted to say how I got involved in Education for All. We had a chance one year, pre-COVID, to visit a girls' school. These were 6th to 12th grade girls. And this was a beautiful campus right near Mudinahala. And I had the chance to talk with the physics teacher outside her classroom, which was fully equipped, just like my daughters would have been in a private school, in a private Catholic school that she was in. Very well resourced, right? And I said to the teacher, so how did they get you? You must have, where did they poach you from? Because she was so poised and so impressive. And she looked young, but she also just looked so experienced. And she said, no, this is my first job. I said, seriously, it's your first job? And she said, yes. And I said, well, where did you study? And she said, I studied in Gulbarga. And so Gulbarga was the first school that Sri Madhusudan Sai actually built himself, involved in the very building of this school. And she studied there, and then when she finished, she went to the Center for Human Excellence and did her advanced degree in teaching. And so now there is a system where the students who've come through the system and know it well have the opportunity to teach in the system, and this is how it continues. And they're not unpaid, they are paid. They're given accommodation and paid, and their parents must be so proud. And so I just wanted to relay to you that I'm a professor. When I meet people and I'm so impressed with them, you know, to think of the background that she came from, and she showed such confidence and such happiness with the students. It was so, I feel so good about giving to Education for All because of the opportunities that happen for these young students who are in families that, I mean, sometimes when they come in, they have to be taught hygiene, you know, in the boys' school. I was hearing this. So anyway, we're supporting 2 schools and the building of 2 schools. And I must say, if I ever had a chance as a child to attend one of these schools, if you look on the website, you'll see how beautiful they are. They're just majestic in their architecture. And so I just wanted to relay that to you and say how proud I am to be a part of this mission. It's a wonderful opportunity for me to feel good about this. And of course, it's an example for what we need in the United States too. And I think even in Clarksdale, we've started helping kids there through Education for All with after-school tutoring so that they can become self-sufficient after high school graduation. So thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Next, we will call upon Dr. Chitra Mani, a seasoned pediatric infectious disease specialist, served nearly 30 years at the Medical College of Georgia in Augusta. She now continues her commitment to healthcare as co-medical director in Clarksville, Mississippi. Dr. Chitra Mani.
Good evening, and thank you, everybody. Thank you. I've been working in the Clarksdale Medical Center since 2020. And initially, when I went there, I was so shocked at the poverty there and the need for medical care. It was just amazing. But through these last few years, 6 years to be exact, we've come a long way, you know. Initially, we had many challenges. Our patients did not think that we can provide free medical care for them. The community was very wary about why we are here and why we want to do all what we're doing. And then the medical providers felt that we may be taking away the business, so they were not very happy with us being there. But since then, things have slowly but surely improved. And we initially started out providing free medical care to women and children. But now we provide medical care to everyone, whether they're insured or uninsured, men, women, and children. Also, we went from a clinic that was only 2 rooms. Now we have a clinic that has 12 rooms, and we provide more services now, including primary care and some specialties like pulmonary care, mental health, counseling and treatment, adult and pediatric cardiac services, as well as dermatology. And we are all the time working towards making this possible for our patients, where we can, if we don't have those services, finding services which will give them the free medical care. We also provide free laboratory work for these patients, free medications, free transportation, and whatever needs they have, including social services. And in the community, we provide free flu vaccine every year. We provide free TB screening. We also provide adult and children heart screenings. And also, recently, we did a free vision screening where we gave gave them free eye checkups, followed by free eyeglasses. So every year we are doing a little bit more. The community is now realizing that we are there to help the community, and so we are getting more collaboration from our medical colleagues in the community as well as the hospital. And I must say I'm delighted to work there, and even though it's a big challenge every day, it's really so gratifying, so good to help. And I request everybody who may want to serve to consider in serving in some way, be it in by physical service, or being supportive of us, or in any other way that you can support us. We'll be very grateful. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mani. Next, we call upon Dr. Gaudami Mohan. An experienced pulmonologist, she previously ran a successful private practice in Anderson, South Carolina. As a co-medical director at Sai Sanjeevani Medical Clinic in Clarksville, Mississippi, her expertise helps in serving patients in need.
Thank you very much. I'm vertically challenged, so I always concerned about going behind the podium. I'm worried that people may not see my face. So I'm just going to start from here. It's a great privilege. I thank everyone for giving me this opportunity to be working in Clarksdale. And I always wanted to serve the country, want to give back to the country with support. I came in 1984. I've been here for a long time. I raised my kids. I really wanted to give back. I felt that is the most patriotic thing to do. So I was looking for opportunity, how to wind up and do some services. I suddenly came to know about this Clarksdale, the free clinic. Then I decided, okay, this is my time, my opportunity. So I decided to close my practice, and then I moved to Clarksdale, and I'm working there as a volunteer with all my other Sai family there. In terms of what the work we do, Dr. Mani covered most of everything we do, but I just want to kind of reinforce and stress the point is like the patients who don't have insurance, when they come, the office visit is free, blood work is free, medications is free, everything, we cover it completely. And if they don't have a transportation, we provide that also free. So the patients there really, really appreciate us. Like she said, initially there was a little hesitation to use us, but now we have been there for more than 6 years. They are really accepting us, and we are able to expand our services more. Now, with our founders' guidance and advice, we just decided not only to provide medical care, we are also doing about food project where we give, monthly provide groceries and other paper supplies, paper products to them, to certain indigent individuals. We have also started the after-school program. Right now, we are doing like 40 students once a week. We are providing free food, and then we are teaching them a lot of human education, education in human values we are teaching them. We are planning to expand that more. Our next step is to reach out to all the high school students and provide free after-school program. Our founder also recommended to use the after-school program along with starting a community garden, so that will be a good one for the children to connect with their fellow students and also with the community. So, and also the community garden also will help them about proper nutrition, and will also be able to address the food insecurity. These are all some of the projects we are going to work on in the future, near future. Thank you very much for giving this opportunity.
Next, we call upon Ms. Toni Palmer. She moved to Clarksdale 3 years ago, bringing extensive experience in youth mentoring and child advocacy across the Southwest USA. She has since been actively engaged with Education for All, championing opportunities for children and families. We would like to call up Ms. Toni Palmer. Thank you.
I'm Toni. I'm the layperson here. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a lawyer, but I'm a strong advocate for children. And, I've had the honor and privilege of traveling the world, many countries, and I've been privileged to see such beauty throughout the world, such beautiful creation that's been made for us. But I've also seen lots of pockets of poverty. And the children are probably the ones that tend to suffer the most. And if a child comes before you and they have need of food, what would you say to that child? Are you going to ask him, where do you come from? What does your family do? Who are you? No. If you can help them, you're going to do that. And one thing my travels have shown me is that people are people no matter where they are. And one thing that Education for All has done for me and shown me is expanded my thinking about my place in the world and how I relate to the rest of the world. And it's just an expansion to think we're not isolated, we're all connected. And that child in one country is the same as a child in front of me when I go back to my hometown. And by the way, I'm very honored and privileged to be able to live in Clarksdale. I came to help, and there is a great need of help there. And I consider myself very lucky. I've advocated for children, I've tutored children, I've mentored children. And they are, you hear this over and over, they are the future of the world. But it's not just a phrase you hear, it's the truth. How do we get these pockets of poverty, how do we break that cycle? I'm convinced we do it by education. Every child deserves an education. But if we send the child to school and he doesn't have a healthy body, if he doesn't have proper nutrition and food to put in, he's not going to be able to learn. I mean, think about us. We can always get in the car and go find food, or maybe you're run out of something and you go to your neighbor or call your relatives, maybe borrow some money, but these children don't always have this opportunity. And so I consider it that every child that I see, no matter where they are, they deserve the education. And when they are able to be fed, taken care of, and educated, they break that cycle of poverty. Not only do they do it for themselves, let's think about that. They do it for their family, for their neighbors, for their community, for their towns, their villages, their states, and their country. That's how we break the cycle of poverty. And so there's a great need in Mississippi, but there's a great need everywhere. So it's not just here. I mean, I was fortunate to be born in this country, but I'm a citizen of the world, and we're all connected, and we all are like that. And so through this organization, I've expanded my thinking about all my brothers and sisters, the little ones, the elderly, everywhere in this world. And I'm telling you, this is a great, great way to support these projects all over the world. Not only that, these are setting an example and a model, especially here in the US, that can be adopted and moved and brought to any community here. And I know in my heart that we're doing that, we're setting that example, and that all of us can make a huge difference. Not just in our family's life and our community life, but through this model all over, because they're all the people of the world are ours. We're all together. We really are one world, one family. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Palmer. Next, we call upon Mr. David Shefferdini, a retired newspaper reporter and editor who lives in Clarksdale, Mississippi, where he volunteers at the Sai Sanjeevani Medical Center.
Thank you. Glad to be here. In 2021, I retired from my career in the newspaper business, and I had heard about this mission from a lot of good people. I lived in California, and I heard about this organization, met some good people involved with this, and sort of on my retirement, sort of as an adventure, I thought I would volunteer to come to Clarksdale for 6 months and explore the South, which I'd never been to, and do some good. I'd never been too much involved in charities. Maybe I reported on them sometimes as a newspaper reporter. And I came here and offered to volunteer. I'm not a doctor. I volunteered to drive the shuttle bus to bring patients to appointments at the medical center. And 5 years later, I'm still here. Why? It's been a great opportunity. I've been with wonderful people and who are involved in this, and I believe it's an incredible organization. And I've been able to see this organization from very many angles, and sort of with even skepticism. As a newspaper reporter, you tend to look at, question things. Where's the money going? Who's involved? Is this a good organization? And in the course of this 5 years of me being involved, I've had a chance to go to India, see the hospitals there and some of the programs there, Fiji, California, and then in Clarksdale. And I'm convinced, there may be lots of good charities in the world, but I'm convinced there's none that are better than this charity as far as the quality, the amount of, efficiency of going to, we have volunteer doctors. They could be working and making lots of money somewhere else, and they're volunteering in Clarksdale to do this. So I honestly believe that this is a good charity, and I imagine all the people here, they have hearts open and want to maybe get involved in something beyond themselves. And I'd like to just say, from my perspective, looking at all angles, you can't get involved in any better charity. There might be some equal, but if you look at this from all the angles, it's a great opportunity to be involved. And in this world where there's lots of problems, wars, and all kinds of things, a lot of times I'm frustrated about that, but there's not really much I can do. But I am convinced that in the long run, the solutions to all these problems are in the areas that this organization focuses on: nutrition, healthcare, and education. I think those three things are the antidote to all the problems in the world. And I can't expect everyone here to, move to Clarksdale and volunteer and things like that, but there's different ways to get involved in it. And when you are involved, you're also part of this mission that I get to watch it grow throughout the world, and I kind of feel like I'm in the ground floor of this, so that's just been interesting. And I've just met incredible people. The people that are involved in this organization, I'm humbled. I'm just a tiny part, but I've seen some just individuals, some of them in this room, that have accomplished, I can't even describe how much they've accomplished. So it's a relatively small group of people is doing this organization. I don't know the facts and figures, but basically it's surprising. And in a way, all what's being done here, I've heard people say it almost sounds too good to be true. Free health care, free transportation, free nutrition. But the truth is, it's too good not to be true. It's something to be involved in. I guess that's the bottom line. I could go on for hours explaining some of the experiences I've had and all the positive things and evidence of why I believe in this. But I'd just like to say, if anybody, if people are interested in getting into charity, I just implore you to get involved in this. Not necessarily, coming to Clarksdale, but in any way you can. And you'll get something out of it. I guarantee you. I can't say exactly what, but I've never it's the best decision I ever made. I lived a fairly privileged life in California near the coast, and a lot of people were shocked that I would move to Mississippi, to an area that's, one of the most impoverished in the country. And yet, my life has been rich there in so many ways. And, well, that's what I can just say. And if anybody wants to talk to me anytime about it to find out more, or if they need more convincing that this is an organization that is worthy of your support, talk to me. But all I can just say is from my heart, I don't think you could find a better charity in the world to be involved in. And I know it's going to grow. I just know it's something just really remarkable, and it's just too good not to be true. So please, look into it. If you have any skepticism, ask questions or anything. And when you know the facts, if you really care about getting involved in something like this, the facts are there, and it's something to be involved in. I encourage you all to do so.
Thank you, dear brothers and sisters, for those wonderful, heartfelt experiences. Now, on behalf of everyone, may we please invite Sri Madhusudan Sai to address all of us this evening. Thank you.
she's here. She's also from the Clarksdale Clinic, and she does a lot of counseling to a lot of patients who go through a lot in their lives, especially, you can imagine this African American community in Mississippi, the Delta region, has gone through a lot in the past few centuries. And the traumas and scars of those are still there in their minds. It's in their genes, in their DNA. Can you reduce the echo?
Yeah.
I can't hear myself otherwise. It's very important that you hear yourself first.
Should we give him this?
So the idea is that
It's okay, it's okay. Let him
if we discover our purpose, we'll be happy all through our lives. And that's the most important asset, wealth, gain, profit that one can have in life. And if you have everything else and but you are not happy at the end of the day, it's no good. It's no good. And all these mental wellness crisis stems from that. When we are not being on the outside what we are on the inside. And to bridge that, to connect that, is my job to keep telling people, keep checking on your inside and check on the outside and see if both are matching. If yes, then you will have a life of balance. And somebody said, balance is the word, Swamiji. That is the word I was looking for. I said, that is the word that can change the world. No extremes, only balance, moderation and balance. So why should you do some social good is the next question. We are born to do so many things in the world. Let's see, we are doing what we are born to do. Why should we include others in our lives? Why it can't be just me, I, myself? Why it should be the next person and the next and the next person? Because the true purpose of our lives is to do good. Do good being a musician, do good being a teacher, do good being a businessman, do good being a lawyer, do good being a politician is very hard, do good being just anyone. So the purpose is not just doing what your heart says, which is to play music or sing a song or do business, but it also should lead to the good of others. If that happens, that's when you find true happiness. You find happiness doing what you like, but you find true happiness doing good to others through what you like. And that happiness is something that eludes us because we don't listen to ourselves, we don't look within, we don't ask the right questions, and we don't find the right answer to the question why I was born. So the whole spirituality in a nutshell is to do what we are born to do. And everybody will be happy in the world. And when people are happy, they won't grab, they won't steal, they won't seize others' wealth. And that's exactly what, if you go back to the Upanishads, I don't know how many are familiar, but India's philosophical text, the philosophy part of Vedas, is called Upanishads. And one Upanishad called Isha Upanishad. That's a small 18 verses Upanishad, the smallest. No, Mandukya is even smaller, but this is 18. And it says, the very opening statement of the Upanishad says, Isha vasyamidam sarvam yat kinchat jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bunjitha ma grudha kasya svidhanam. Very simple Sanskrit, it says, all this is permeated and pervaded by that one force, one energy, one supreme self. Isha vasyamidam sarvam, everything, yat kinchat, anything and everything, the movable and the immovable, everything is permeated by the same principle. Knowing that we are all one in that principle, how do you behave? How do we conduct ourselves? How do we interact or engage with ourselves? So the second line gives the answer. Tena tyaktena unjitha. Therefore, consume after sacrificing. Sacrifice and then consume. Don't consume and then worry whether I should make any sacrifices at all, because then nothing will be left. So sacrifice and then consume. Before you get, think of how to give. Before you take, think of how to share. And that principle alone can take care of the whole world. The last part says, Ma grudha kasya svidhanam, which means don't take another man's wealth. Now people think another man's wealth is somebody who has earned rightfully something. If you go and steal it from them, that's wrong. That everybody knows. You go to the 10 Commandments, you go to the Hadiths, you go to Torah, you go to anywhere. It will tell you, don't steal, don't steal. That's wrong, that's sin. The Bible says that too. But is that simple? Is it that simple? Why should we write a book for that? Why should it be the highest philosophy not to steal? Because it means more than that. It means do not take more than what you need in this world. If you take more than what you need, it's equivalent to stealing somebody else's opportunity. It is stealing somebody else's requirements. You might have the means to do it, you might have the right to do it, you might have the ability to do it, to take more than what you need and store it, keep it, amass it, accumulate it. Yes, you have every right and that's legal too. But still you'll be called a thief because you have taken more than what you need from the society. And whatever you do not need belongs to the other person whose need is greater than yours. So that is the idea of non-stealing. And that is what I keep telling people. I'm not saying you don't fulfill your needs. You are a parent, you need to raise your kids, you need to have a home, you need to send them to college, you need to save up something for your retirement on those rainy days. Everything is permitted by the scriptures. No doubt. All those are duties that need to be fulfilled. Beyond that, beyond your need, if you have anything that truly does not belong to you, that belongs to someone whose need is greater than yours. And that is the idea of non-stealing, that is the idea of sharing. So knowing that we are all one in that spiritual truth, but even otherwise, just look at ourselves as humanity, who share the same feelings, the same hunger. When I feel hungry, I don't feel a specialized American hunger. I feel an Indian hunger or Japanese hunger. I feel the same hunger. The child in Africa feels equally or the same way hungry as the child in India. They may eat different things, but the hunger is same. That's how we are so connected, we are so one. When we are happy, we feel the same happiness. The person who smiles in Southeast Asia or the person who smiles in Argentina or South America, they express the same emotions of joy and fulfillment. And that is how we are one and the same. That is our interconnectedness. When we sleep the same sleep. Not just humans, even dogs, animals, everybody. In the sleep, we all become one. We don't remember who we are. The dog doesn't remember it's a dog. So also the human doesn't remember he's a human. The rich don't remember they're rich. The poor don't remember they're poor. The educated don't remember they're educated. And the illiterate don't remember they're uneducated. We all become one in that deep sleep. That's how connected we are. And if we can't empathize with each other, knowing all this, then how can we be a happy world is the question. There will be pockets of happiness, so-called, and there will be misery everywhere. You can't have islands of happiness in the sea of poverty and misery. You can't live a happy life. And I keep telling people, if you don't invest in your kids, your future, your children, your society, you will not have a future at all. You will not be safe. And I go to countries that are so difficult, where you can't just go out on the road by yourself. You must take some security with you. Otherwise, there's no guarantee you will come back. You might be kidnapped. Why did that happen? It's because those kids, when they were small, they didn't go to school. They went to gangs. They became a part of them. They had no education, no future, no idea. And they idolized these people with guns. We have plenty of them in the US. And then they became one of them. And they're not to be blamed because somebody did not bother to send them to school. Their parents couldn't and the society didn't. That's why they are who they are. In Atlanta, I met a judge from a juvenile court. And she told me, Swamiji, it breaks my heart every day to pronounce verdicts upon kids, teenagers. It hurts me to say that they must go to jail or they must be put in a rehabilitation center, correction centers. They're so young, they're so bright, but they've somehow fallen into the wrong hands. It breaks my heart to do that. What is the solution? I told right kind of education is the solution. They must be put into good schools, taught by good teachers, and made into good human beings before they're made into good graduates. If that happens, there won't be problem in the society. But are governments capable of doing it, or are they doing it? They're doing what they can. Are parents doing it? Most of them, yes, but many of them cannot. So who will do it for them? If you look away, look at the other way, say, that's not my problem because it's not my child, it's not my community. one day or the other, the problem will be at our door. And that is the day we will regret that we did not do the right thing when there was time. I'm not saying we'll solve all the problems of the world, just a bunch of us in a room here, huddled up to understand what's going on. And I always say when people ask me, can you really change the world with whatever you're doing? The world is so big, the problems are plenty, and your mission is so small comparatively. And you only have a handful of people who do what you do. Is it possible? And I tell them, no, I cannot change the world. What we do may not make a big difference to the world, but it does make a world of difference to that child for whose sake we do. And that's enough for us. We've changed the world for that child. And that is the impact that we can create in our own way. So discover your purpose first so that you're happy. And when you're happy, you don't grab. You're happy unto yourself, you're satisfied unto yourself. You don't need more to be happy then. And two, once you know that, include others in your happiness. Let your happiness be shared, let it spread, let it make another person happy around you. And that's very possible, that's very much possible, it's very doable. That requires sharing, that requires caring, that requires empathy, that requires inclusivity. And it's possible. Imagine if there are 8 billion people on earth. I'm sure 4 billion are okay to do. I'm not saying they're doing very well, but let's say if they just look after another 4 billion, we are all doing well. But it is that problem of not being able to be sensitive about others around us that causes all the problems. The world has plenty. I mean, the world has never been richer than what it is today. $100 trillion global GDP. Never been so rich. But at the same time so poor, because the maximum number of poor people live right now in the world. The maximum number of kids out of school are right now in the world. The maximum number of people without access to water, sanitation, healthcare, housing is right now in the world. What a world of paradox it is. And we can set it right, one person at a time, one thing at a time, one place at a time, and that is what we are trying to do. So when people said, how do you define yourself? I said, we are one world, one family, because if as a family, we all are in it together. And that's when we look after each other. So that is how we ended up in Clarksdale. Started a small clinic, these young girls, they just spoke to you, and one boy, young boy is an exception, of course. It's all girl power in Clarksdale. And they started the clinic, the community said, who are these people? They don't even look like us, they don't talk like us, they don't walk like us, they don't behave like us. Who are these new people? They rejected us. They won't come to the clinic even though it was free for the uninsured. They didn't believe us. They didn't trust us. They were betrayed so many times over and over again that they lost that ability to trust anyone. It took 6 years to even build the trust between us and the communities there. And these ladies have done a wonderful job by, imagine, giving up their back. Each other as family. Include all in your happiness, but first you be happy. That's the most important part. Happiness cannot be purchased in a store. We all know by now. And so there is a way to find happiness, which is to do what your heart says. The inside and the outside should be the same. And whether you are rich or poor, it doesn't matter, you will still be happy. And that is the way to create a happier world. And these ladies are very happy, though not many would think they should be happy going that far. But they are generally very happy. I've seen in 6 years their happiness has only grown. They're happier than before. They look younger than before. I don't know how they drive hours and hours to go to places. This David, he drives miles and miles to reach to some elderly lying somewhere, to bring them to the clinic. They don't have anybody to drive them around. All kinds of wonderful things happen. That's the hope, that there are people like this, good people. And if more and more good people join hands, so much can happen. And as I said, at the end of the day, what's in it for you? The American question. The answer is you'll be happier than yesterday. And that you cannot purchase in any store. You can't order it online. You can't steal it from someone. You can't get it from anywhere other than from inside. And that happiness is what is going to make us all better human beings, a better society, a better world. And hopefully, when we are all happy, there won't be wars, there won't be conflicts, there won't be grabbing, there won't be stealing. And whatever is not necessary, not needed by us, will be there for others to enjoy, others to use. And that's how we will become a better world, better family. So that's the summary of what we do. And such an undivided attention. I'm very thankful to all of you. Hardly anybody was breathing. But that's nice of you to do that, to come on this afternoon, stay here, to learn and listen about what we do. And I was told, Shivram told, he had already told this is a charity event. I told, don't expect many people. And he said, no, there are people, there are good people. And I think that is the good thing. I tell him the biggest reward in my profession is I get to meet good people. Now, business people meet only business people. They all know each other. Politicians meet politicians. But I meet good people. And that's the biggest incentive. I think I have met thousands of good people around the world. Thousands and thousands of them. All the way from Fiji, where Sumit built the hospital, to Latin America, Mexico, to Canada, to the US, and all the countries in between. All the countries, those who are at war right now, they also have many good people inside. It's just that they don't have a voice. They're not the majority. They can't get things their way. But one day, one person at a time, we will go there. I'm sure the needle will move, the balance will tilt, and more good people will be there in the world who will change the world for the better. Okay, that's all from my side. Anything else that you want to ask, you can ask me.
We will now open the floor to some questions anyone might have on Sri Madhusudan Sai. This is a special opportunity for all of us, especially those who may be new to the One World, One Family mission, to hear directly from the visionary about the inspiration, vision, and future of this mission. If you have any questions, please raise your hand, and one of our volunteers will come with you to a microphone, with the microphone. Thank you.
Namaskaram. So glad to see you here. My question is, you talked about building trust and hope and the disconnect people have when we don't look like them and we don't talk like them. And I think that interconnectedness and creating that interconnectedness is a broad issue. How would you say that we should build that trust with not just people who look like us and talk like us, but more especially with people who don't?
I think the answer is with one of your former presidents, not the present one. The former who said, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. When you meet new people, ask not what they can do for you, ask what you can do for them. That's how you build trust and hope. So I think when we meet somebody, ask, how can I add value to their lives? How can I do something? How can I benefit them? I think that's where the trust starts growing. And after some time, they start reciprocating. But it's always give first and get later to build trust. Yes, ma'am here.
Thank you so much. I'm so honored to be here, but I have a question about caste. I would like to know if in India, since you've started your schools, do you see a difference in the country, not just the people that attend your schools are associated with the institution, but because of your presence, you have impacted how people think about other people in ways of caste? I've been so discouraged in our country because it seems like we've moving backwards when it comes to race relations. And I want to have hope that in helping this mission, that it's more than just helping the people that are poor, but helping all the other people that are impacted.
I think caste comes from the word kasta, which means classes. So in every society, there are classes of people, right? I'm not necessarily saying there's a hierarchy of people, but there are people with different aptitudes and abilities. And that was the original idea of caste. And that word is newly invented by the colonial people, but it wasn't there earlier. There was another word which was called Varnashrama, and which meant classes of people, not hierarchical, but aptitudinal classes. So there is somebody who is a musician and somebody who is let's say, a doctor. Well, there are two different types of people with different aptitudes. So is a musician greater than the doctor? Can't say. So that was the original idea, and that is how our scriptures had designed the idea that people are born with different aptitudes and abilities, and they should be encouraged to pursue those. That is what I said, inside and outside, you should have that purpose and thing. So that was the original idea, and nobody disrespected others originally because they were born in a different type of a community which were doing different type of things. So that was the original idea. Nobody was supposed to. In fact, our scriptures say that, we are all like limbs of the same body. Somebody is the head, somebody has to be the feet. And feet is not something that is not, necessary or we can do away with. No, we need that to carry the head everywhere. So like that, there was detailing of in our scriptures, but over a period of time, because the colonial politics, when they knew the only way to survive is divide and rule, they started pitting one against the other, saying you are lesser, we are greater, you are this skinned and we are that skinned, and things like that, just to create enmity and division in the society so that they could have their way. And that was total politics and nothing more than that. It continues even till today, unfortunately, because these are such deep-rooted impressions, as I just mentioned, of Mississippi Delta region. I've seen, and I was talking to somebody important there from the side of the governance, and they said it exists in the people who govern the place and the people who are governed. There is a huge chasm, and they don't trust because this continues here. So what is the solution to this? What is the solution? Reaching out is the solution. Somebody has to bend over, reach out, lend a hand, and that person will have to do it against all the background of racism or caste systems or anything. We have done it in our schools. We have succeeded. We have got people to sit on the same table and eat. We have got people to study in the same class, in the same standard, wear the same clothing, eat the same food, do the same things. And when somebody objected, we said, see, this is how it is. And if you don't like it, you will be the loser, because we are not going to change our ways. See, that is the power of being free. If you were charging, then you would be dependent. Then actually people with money are people from so-called the higher castes. And people with no money are the people from the lower economic strata of the society. And you can't put them in the same class because they both won't pay the same fee. Government tries to put them together, but all the government schools are what you call like a federal system here. The government schooling system has only people from lower castes. Why do the upper caste or so-called the elite don't join there? Because they don't want that kind of mixing. They go to the private schools because from the beginning they were privileged, they had more money than the rest. They dominated the society. So we have changed that. By making it free, we broke those barriers. Everybody can be in the same class, everybody gets the same quality, same standard of education or healthcare or nutrition or whatever other programs are. If you don't like it, you're the loser, that's it. But then we have slowly built that understanding in the kids, because kids don't know which caste they are and where they come from. They understand when we treat them same, treat them alike, And slowly it goes to the parents. And then we kind of transform them gradually. If the kids understand, parents will understand eventually. And the idea is that you can't do it with a magic brush, you can't paint it all at once, but it will take a while. And even here in a so-called developed economy, it exists. I know it exists everywhere. And the only way, as I said, is that we have to bend over, we have to reach out to those who have never been treated equal. And they won't come because they suspect us, they don't believe us, they don't trust us, they think there is an agenda. Why would these people be so nice to us all of a sudden? There has to be a hidden agenda behind this. And I as an organization, keep telling there is no agenda. So I had a journalist, not as nice as Jyotsna in the room, but a very difficult one. And I was warned, watch out, he's going to ask you some tough questions. I said, what tough questions? You watch out, they'll ask tough questions. We had a very good time together. We understood each other. And then finally, the common friend said, so the Swamiji comes all the way to Mississippi, Clarksdale, and does so many things. We built their mother and child center, we built a clinic, we brought jobs and so many things. And do you know what does he expect in return? The common friend asked. And do you know what the journalist replied? Nothing. In the 1 hour's conversation, he had understood we had no agenda to come to their community. And that meant everything to me. So if your intentions are true, you're genuinely interested in the other person, you will bend over, you will reach out. And that's not given to everyone right now, but yes, we can change. I think the younger generation understands better. And that's why I want them to be in good schools. And that's why I have to build more schools. That's the job I gave to Shivaram. Please help me build more schools so that we can bring more children into the right kind of education system, build character, empathy, compassion, kindness in them. And when they grow up and they are placed in good positions in the society, they'll do the right thing. That's the only solution. I can't change the present system. And I'm very clear, I'm very practical. I don't expect to do that. But I'm trying to change the next generation, which is lots of kids around the world. Half of the world is young. If they get it right, like you and I are not going to be here 25, 30, 40 years down the line, but they will be there. I think that's where the hope lies. That's where education, schooling, health, nutrition, love and care for the children. That's the most important solution. Sure.
Thank you, Sadguru, for coming to Atlanta again. And you talk about balance of inside and the balance outside. Is there a balance in gratification and satisfaction and contentment?
Please sit. Nice question. You use 3 words: gratification, satisfaction, and contentment. Very difficult to say. I can't go to the Oxford Dictionary to get the right meanings, but if I have to simply put it in some perspective, when it's about you, your senses, your pleasures, your joy, physical ones, it's gratification. When you're mentally challenged, you have achieved something, there is a sense of achievement, some kind of satisfaction that I was supposed to do this, I did this. But when you go beyond the call of duty, beyond you, I think that is the true contentment. At 3 levels, at a very physical, gross level, animals also have that gratification. I eat good food, I enjoy the food, I had a good sleep, I'm safe, I have a family, gratification. These are all same as animals. The next level is, of course, satisfaction. A little beyond that, I feel, where mentally you feel that, yes, you are supposed to be doing this and you achieved that. It's not just food and instincts, but your very intellect has been applied and you achieved something creative. You added value to the society, you added value to yourself. I think that is some kind of a mental satisfaction. But true contentment comes when you are doing things for others. When there is no agenda, there is no self-interest, there is no selfishness in that. is pure unconditional kindness. That contentment is of a purer quality, and I think that clearly distinguishes itself from the other two because it lasts. It lasts forever. The other two do not last. Once they are done, you've eaten good food, it's over, you're hungry again after some time. You've achieved one thing, it's over, you want to achieve the next thing. But contentment, when you've done something good to others, there is a kind of a joy that remains with you. And that is what I was talking about, the true happiness, that contentment. That's what I thought of it as your question. I understood it this way. I don't know whether you were asking for something else. That's because they don't do things for others. Yes. Well, we were born animals. We were born with survival instincts. We were supposed to be selfish. But that was when we were animals. And we have grown out of that animality. We wear clothes, we live in houses, we drive cars, we speak languages. I think we also should not be selfish.
Yeah, that's all I have to ask. It's just
Yeah.
there was different level of happiness, contentness.
Absolutely, there's different levels of happiness. The quality of happiness is different. Yeah, when you do things for others unconditionally, that's the purest quality of happiness. That's pure gold. That's what I was trying to tell. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
We have one question. Yeah.
Thank you, Swamiji. During the start, you were mentioning there are two type of things like people will know that when they born, and I do not know, many of us will be blessed to know the second one, but I would like to hear and inspired from you when and how you realize this.
How did I find out this?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
I do not know how many of us will be blessed in this lifetime, but you are one blessed soul. So we would like to get inspired on that.
Okay. At least I can tell you my story, and then you can figure it out for yourself. I was born in the central region of India amidst the tribal communities. We were not tribals, we were not indigenous, but we lived in between a lot of indigenous people and saw their trials and tribulations. And my heart softens looking at their pain and suffering. Like a mother to deliver a baby needed to travel 70, 60 miles on a makeshift stretcher made of a bed sheet through the forests to reach the nearest safe delivery center. And most of them died on the way because they bled to death if there was an emergency. NICU and all were unheard of. I lived in a small town, we were better off, but then most of the people around us were not. Just 5 kilometers this way, that way, and you found all of them. So it really was always there in my mind that how much suffering is there in this world and what can we do about it. But when I met Sai Baba, when I grew up to be 17 years old, and then I went to meet Sai Baba because I wanted an education, and his institutions provided free education. So I went to Puttaparthi, and I saw what he was doing for the world. He was giving free education. He was giving water to millions, safe drinking potable water. He was giving health care, first of its kind, a free multi-speciality hospital. He built it for the poor. It really moved me. I think that is the time when I really discovered my true purpose, that I want to be like him. I want to do what he does. He became my hero, he became my idol, he became my inspiration. And I studied there for 7 years trying to figure out how can I be like him in terms of helping others. And after 7 years, I was guided by him. I know you need to have a guru, by the way. He helps you find your purpose faster. You can always figure it out for yourself, but then you want to make it faster, go to a good guru who understands you. And that could be your parent also, you never know who could be your teacher. But I found him luckily. And my parents wanted me to be a doctor, but I thought whatever I feel from the heart, I'll do. And finally, he guided me to this path. And it is his inspiration that gave me the courage to follow this path, because when you come from a small family, middle class family, a lot of expectations, you're the oldest, the whole family looks up to you for everything. And there's a lot of pressure. But then you decide that you don't want to earn things for yourself. You don't want to do things just for your family. You want to call. It's a big call, but I think I had the courage. I discovered that, I enjoyed it, and now I still do it. And if I'm still doing it every day, it means I'm doing something right. That's why I'm able to do it again and again. So that is how I discovered my purpose, and I feel happy doing it. How do you know what is your purpose? You should feel that happiness inside. You should not feel effort in it. It will be hard work, lot of hard work, but there won't be a sense of effort. It'll be effortless hard work. You don't feel a burden in it. You don't drag yourself to your workplace or come back thanking God it's Friday. Such thoughts don't occur to you when you're doing exactly your purpose. And it may change. It may change. There might be smaller milestones to that bigger purpose. You just cover one after the other. So the check is the inside is happy. You're joyful. You may be a coder, you may be a software programmer, you could be business, but you wake up every day. But you will think, oh, only thing that makes me happy is if I make more money today. Maybe right now that is your purpose. Just keep making money. Who knows, one day your heart will change and give it all away to somebody and help so many people. Maybe that is why God made you the way you are. I've seen a lot of people do that. They were very greedy all through their lives. It was impossible to change them. Their spouses would find it difficult to drive some sense of charity in their heads. They're always money-minded. And one fine day, something happened. They said, you know what, I've been doing this all my life. I don't think this is what I was born to do. I'm never happy. And then they found causes to share their wealth with, and suddenly they were happy. So you don't know when your purpose hits you. So keep doing, but make sure that whenever you wake up in the morning, you don't feel, oh, what a burden, again, another Monday, another week. You don't feel like that. You wake up joyfully, you do what you've got to do, and you're never feeling burdened. You may feel tired because physically exhausted or mentally exhausted, but never should you feel burdened by it. You should never feel the effort in it. So the effortless existence is when you know that you're doing your purpose.
Namaste. I just want to follow up on the question about gratification, satisfaction, and content. Thank you for the answer. The question is it really bad to be selfish? For example, one could argue that I am content, but the real reason I help people because I feel happy while doing that, and I'm selfish in that regard because it really gives me pleasure to help people. So I'm selfish. Is that bad?
No, I think you'll have to understand that we are all entitled to seek happiness, true happiness. It's our right. It's our birthright to be happy. If you're not happy, you're denying yourselves. You're depriving yourselves of the very reason, the very right of your birth. So when you seek what you rightfully should, that is true happiness, that's not being selfish. That is what is us. That is what we are. So contentment is not selfishness. When you do something for others, of course, if you're looking at some acknowledgement and reward and recognition, then it is only satisfaction. It is not going to contentment. You really didn't do it for others. That's why I used the word unconditional. When it's unconditional, it becomes contentment. When there is selfishness in that, oh, if I do that, my picture will be all over in the newspaper. Everybody knows that I'm a great philanthropist and I'll probably get nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. A lot of people asking for it. That's not, like a lot of presidents are saying we are stopping wars and all that stuff. But you start a war and then stop it and you want a prize for it. That's not how it works. That is not contentment. That is selfishness only. So that is selfishness when there is something they're looking out for you, which is more than just an inner peace and joy. Inner peace and joy is our birthright. That is our true nature. And if we seek that, it is not selfish. Unconditionality, that is the word. There should not be strings attached to what we do. Quietly, silently. Of course, recognition will come, but you don't really believe that it belongs to you. You feel like a thief, as I said. You're taking away somebody's credit. In fact, Bhagavad Gita says very nicely, Krishna says that we do everything in this world because the help of the gods, if you believe in God, otherwise help of the good people, let us say. And when you don't offer it back to the gods, you are being a thief. And the one who is really living a life of selflessness will find it very difficult to accept credit for anything. Many times people ask me, they come and they say, "Oh, how did you build this all up in like less than 15 years?" And I tell them, I didn't do it. Philosophically, I didn't do it. They said, don't be modest, tell us. I said, I really don't believe that I did it. It's not my capacity. Something higher did it. I just instrumented it. Maybe that's why I was I was the face of it, but I'm not all of it. So it's very difficult when people give credit. Of course, in forums which are formal, you have to say thank you very much and things like that. But I don't mean it. In the sense, I don't mean it that I did it, so I'm thanking you for all the credits that you're giving me. It can't be. It can't be. So that is how when you know you are selfless, because even if people recognize you and reward you and acknowledge you and give you prizes, you feel you have robbed God of his credit. You feel like a thief, you feel ashamed, embarrassed actually. But you don't have to say it necessarily, because some people are there, they say it so loudly that we all know they don't really. I'm so no, yours humbly and all that. So thing is that when you are that, you know it inside your heart that you are contented because you didn't have any agenda, you didn't have any conditionality, you didn't expect anything in return. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. That feeling is different. You have to do to experience that, and experience will teach you what is contentment, what is satisfaction, and things like that. That experience of pure joy. But you definitely feel good after that. You do feel good, but you don't feel to like taking the credit for it. Okay. I don't know whether I answered, but these are subtle things.
Hello. Namaste, Swamiji. As you were saying that, you notice that we are all listening to you with rapt attention and breathless, and I truly agree that we are listening to you with such rapt attention because you are so inspiring. Thank you.
Thank you. If you are breathless, we have a pulmonologist here.
See, I have one, question. I don't know if there is a question or my opinion. I have grown up in India from a small village up and moved out through the ranks of the big cities and came here. India has lifted millions of people out of poverty, and there is enormous economic progress in these years. But at the same time, the moral fabric of the people and the society has completely gone down from year to year, decade to decade. And there were days when these moral teachings were being imparted by the sadhus, santas, jangamas, harikathas, and temple, and that was the infrastructure that was there for a long number of years. And our spiritual gurus were inspiring these people and these institutions to keep up that moral fabric in the society. Now, that situation has changed completely.
Yes.
Now, we have a class of people. These are many of the people, the baby boomer generation is retiring now. They have come up with those moral values in their early days. And now they can go back to the villages, go back to their roots and impart them in the local society. But is there a proper infrastructure to do that? Doing great institutions, hospitals, teaching places are great, but that is a slow way to make progress. It can be scaled through informal ways of education if we empower the retired people who have the good moral fabric, but they can go back to their roots and impart in the community the way the jangamas and sadhus were doing in the past. Is that something that is possible with One World, One Family mission?
Actually, we do it all the time. The thing is that there was a structured approach to such moral teachings. Maybe there were institutions which were teaching that, like you mentioned, the matas and jangamas and saints and sages and teachers in the society. And even the schooling system included some of the moral classes and teachings for a long time, till it was thrown out of the window in the name of productivity and better ranks and things like that. Then children were stopped from learning. The tragedy is also because the parents stopped practicing at their own homes. See, for the child, what he sees is what he learns. He observes and learns. When the parents don't practice it at home, he doesn't learn, the child doesn't learn. There's hypocrisy in the society. And that is the reason why most of the children have lost that sense of morality. They think anything is okay. Anyway, people say one thing, do another thing. It happens all the time in our homes, in our schools. So, morality is not a structured syllabus, it is a daily practice which child learns by looking at others. Nevertheless, some theory of it should be taught in some way. But as I said, if an elderly retired person, like a lot of retired people are volunteers with us. They do all kinds of service because we have ashrama dharmas, right? So finally you reach a vanaprastha sannyas ashrama. You have to spend time doing service. That is a scriptural injunction. So people do that. Children learn also. Theoretically, they learn all these concepts. But practically, they will learn only if they see it being practiced around them. And whom do they look up to? Their own parents, their neighbors, their societies, their communities. It has to be practiced in all those places. So putting it as a part of the structured schooling is one thing, but more importantly, putting it as a part of a structured practice in a community is the more important thing. Now, how do we do that? Organizations like us. In a community, there are, let's say, 100 people. 20 of them join platforms like ours. They volunteer. They go out, do good. They remain good. They always are truthful. They're helpful. They're kind. Now the children are watching them. The neighbors' children are also watching them. Maybe their parents are not doing, but since you are doing, they're getting inspired. So the real way of building the moral fabric is practice. And that practice for children is not making children come in the class and practice, but all the elders around them have to practice. But that doesn't happen all the time. So such organization like ours give that opportunity for many elders to join us and practice, while there is a lot of scope for those who are retired, semi-retired, to participate and educate. That happens all the time. That happens all the time. But as I said, I don't want to be a preaching-based learning. I want it to be a practice-based learning. And you know what these young kids do? All these people who retire and come, they have seen the world, they have been there, done that, and finally say, all this is Maya, don't bother about it. You focus on your morality and spirituality. You know what these kids say? After having done everything, you are coming and preaching us. Hindi, they say, "So chuhe khake billi chali haj ko." After eating hundreds of rats, the cat is going to a pilgrimage. So these elderly coming and preaching doesn't really help much. Yeah, grandparents at home is a good idea. They tell moral stories to their grandkids. That is how children were raised always. One generation before always raised the children, not the parents. But that structure is broken because of nuclear families. So the only other way is all the neighbors, all the community must practice. At least a few people in the community must practice. Children will watch them and get inspired. That is a better education. That's why I want everybody in it, not just the schools. I don't outsource all the parenting to schools and teachers. You have to do what you have got to do. Be good neighbors, be good parents, and that's a responsibility. I don't think we can take too much time. There are a lot of people who have traveled a long distance to be here. Maybe last one question I'll take and then we'll close. Oh, there, the lady.
Thank you, Sadguru, for taking last question. My question to you is, you have met some of the great world leaders, spiritual leaders. Of course, your mentor, Sai Baba. I want to know what stayed with you, some of the wise words. It could be from your mentor or from your mother, which is so relevant over the decades.
Thank you so much for asking the questions. Very practical. So the tip, a good spiritual tip that I received, which has kept me in good stead. In the recent times, since we grew, or whatever, we exploded actually as a mission. When I came in 2011, I was alone. I had nothing in my pockets. We had a vision, we had a dream, we had a guidance. We wanted to build schools, universities, medical schools, hospitals, name it. And so much happened within like a matter of 1.5 decades. And it was overwhelming at times because, I have also matured over a time. Now, all the wisdom that I'm giving is not from today. It's a 15 years of work. And slowly I matured. I was very raw when I came in. I used to get very overwhelmed, sometimes upset, sometimes, a kind of frustrated because things won't go the way we want them to. And that is how you learn, you grow. So I've gone through my own dark nights and I've gone through it and I've learned it. So at some point in time when I was very very down and upset, my mentor told me, one day at a time. And that has kept me in good stead. I just live for this day. I give it my very best. I go to sleep. And if I wake up again tomorrow, I will start the day fresh all over again. That is how I survive these hectic travels, meetings, and all time zones. One day at a time has been very practical. I think that is living in the present, living today, living in the now. That's very powerful. You give your very best, and every day is fulfillment. Every day is full. You feel complete. You feel satisfied, contented. So one day at a time is a great spiritual tip, social tip, professional tip, personal tip. One day at a time. So I just want to thank you everybody for coming here and being with us. I'm sure you would understand the need for what we do and do the needful. So Shivram, great work to bring the community together. I don't visit and I don't meet too many. I've just started it recently because I realized that the word should spread. So I hope that you felt your time was worth, and then we look forward to a lasting association with everyone. So thank you very much again.